paddock, you'd expect the two horses with winning form to be better than him. But Adam Kirby in good form, Stable in decent form, unexposed. It was presumably he's been quite difficult in that he did have the blinkers on straight away, but he's shown a little bit of form in his 3 runs. Probably the best run was the turf effort, first time on horrible ground at Yarmouth. But the other two will be tough nuts to crack for First Sergeant, I feel.
Ningara, we said, was touching 4 to 7 this morning. Well back, 10 to 11 now on track. Does that surprise you?
That's about what price I thought he ought to be. I thought the price this morning where Smiles with before the non-runner, Smiles with Her Eyes was out to 5 to 1 in places, and that was really too big. But the punters have seen that. They've nibbled Smiles with Her Eyes with His Eyes. It's a terribly difficult horse to. I don't fancy David Fitzgerald's naming this horse. He's very good, David Fitzgerald, but I think I'd struggle with Smiles with His Eyes in a tight finish. I don't know about you, Niall.
Yeah, definitely. We can have a look at him in winning action. You wouldn't want him in a real tight finish with a few others that are knocking around at the minute.
Well, it was an improvement from his first run, wasn't it? But he didn't look as though he was blessed with a lot of early speed, and it could be that Ningara just has a bit too much pace for him here. And the prices they are now, they're about right. When he was a bit bigger price this morning, you could see why there was some interest in trying to support him. 5 to 2 is a fair price. I think the level of form comparison with Ningara is roughly similar. The handicap has got them £4 apart. It's not really a handicap now, is it? 3 runners, one of them carries £4 more than the others. You can't really see it as a handicap. It's 2 maiden winners against a horse who's unexposed after 3 runs. I just feel that First Sergeant seems to be too short on what he's actually achieved.
Yeah, at 130.
I think one of the other two will win, and more likely of the two is Ningara.
As the betting would suggest, at 3 runners you've always had a chance it could be a muddling affair. Any of these made it before?
Well, Ningara led initially last time and then stayed up with the pace, and you see he let the other horse do the donkey work and then quicken past him. So he's got the pace to be able to sit on it and do what he wants, whereas Smiles with His Eyes was a bit sluggish.
It's not getting any easier, is it?
I'm very poor with that, aren't I? You've got to try and split it up into 4 words, I suppose. That makes it slightly easier.
Smile with His Eyes. Then it's a bit slow, but we're not commentating.
Well, he does go up to a mile for the first time, so he's got the smile for the mile. Now we're getting silly now. It's quite difficult talking about 3 horses for 7 minutes. Nobody's really tried it before, have they?
Have they not?
They must have done. But 3 horses, 3 2-year-olds, well, just out of their 2-year-old careers, there's not an awful lot more to say about them, is there? We can talk about jockeys and tactics until we're blue in the face, but we don't actually know what's going to happen and who's going to go to the front. And the jockeys there just having a little chat. Adam Kirby on First Sergeant, David Probert on Ningara. I think Ningara, who
just got a little touch warm, hasn't he?
Yeah, that some people will see that as a negative. I've seen plenty of horses in recent weeks sweating up and winning. Buzzer the other day at Lingfield got quite sweaty and still won, so it's not always a negative, if it is a negative at all.
Andrew Baldwin, who's another 2 chances later in the afternoon, but this is his main hope today. You would have thought Ningara 4 to 5 from an opening 8 to 11, 3 to 1 into 9 to 4 is Smile with His Eyes. That was better than you, wasn't it?
You've got it straight off.
And you're struggling if I'm better.
You're a proper professional, aren't you?
No, not with First Sergeant is 7 to 2 outside after 3. I'm one of the worst at pronouncing them. 4 to 5 then as they load up. So it's guessing game. We think probably the favourite will. Looks uncomplicated. I think probably let it stride on if nothing else does.
I think so, and that has to be an advantage in a race of this nature.
Yeah.
I said that before Compton Rainbow won, or before whatever's going to. I said it's going to be an advantage in this sort of race to be in front, and I think the same. You've got to think the same again here, because you can dictate what gallop you want. If you have a horse who doesn't mind being out in front, and Ningara was fairly tractable last time, but then we go, do we want to bet 5 to 4 on? Well, I think there are better opportunities on other occasions. I'd like to watch the race tactically. You might want to press a button in running if something jumps out and gets an easy lead, but then so will everyone else, and the price will have gone. So
we'll find out.
We think Ningara is going to lead, but we can't be sure.
David Fitzgerald will tell us who leads.
Thanks very much, Niall. Completing the line, First Sergeant. They're set. And they're off for the 32red.com handicap, a London Mile qualifier, and Ningara is allowed to stride into an early lead of about a length and a half. To in second spot, the purple with the red cap Smiles with His Eyes, and to the outside, the blue with the white disc, First Sergeant, representing the Inform Marco Botti stable. An Inform jockey as well, Adam Kirby. But it's Ningara that has the lead at a medium sort of pace with a small field. To in second spot, First Sergeant, seeking a first career win today, and in last spot, Smiles with His Eyes, a winner of a maiden race here last time up over a mile, as was Ningara. The winner raced prominently that day and is doing so again here, making the running. To in second spot, First Sergeant, and then Smiles with His Eyes in third place. They're turning right-handed, the long bend which will ultimately take them into the home straight and approaching halfway, and it's Ningara and David Probert in front for the Andrew Balding stable. To First Sergeant in second to the outside, and Smiles with His Eyes and Robert Winston last of all. Kirby is just giving the second First Sergeant a few reminders now, just hurrying that one along, starts to shove away, and it's Ningara still in hand in front for David Probert leading, and now Smiles with His Eyes asked for a little bit more from Robert Winston as they approach the final two, and it all looks good for Ningara at the moment, but has by no means put this to bed, with First Sergeant improving this near side, and also on the far side, Smiles with His Eyes. Only 3 runners, but a corking finish as they approach the final furlong. Smiles with His Eyes over on the far side grabs Ningara. First Sergeant this near side, and Smiles with His Eyes shows a nice turn of foot and could be a good sort for Gay Kelleway. Wins this London Mile qualifier by 2.5 lengths to Ningara, and First Sergeant last of the 3.
Yeah, Robert Winston has rode a winner here for Gay Kelleway. Smiles with His Eyes wins, and wins tidily in the end from Ningara, who was second for Andrew Balding, and David Probert, and Staff Sergeant was last of the 3 for Marco Botti and Adam Kirby. Good finish.
Yeah, Ningara didn't really show as good an attitude as he had last time. He just edged off a true line when he was asked to go away from them. First Sergeant came up on one side, Smiles with His Eyes came up on the other side, and it was fairly straightforward, barring when he got his whip up for Robert Winston. His horse just started to veer across towards the far rail, but he'd already got clear by then, so he was able to put the whip down and take things pretty easily. He's a horse he's done it in nice style. 2 wins from 2 on the all-weather. It was a gentle gallop early. I'm sure the winner, the second horse, Ningara, went very short in running at this stage because he'd got an easy lead, David Probert.
The winner was just keen, it had to be reined back, wouldn't it? And if you stopped it here, you'd have been more negative about the winner than the other 2. You
would, but I think that's just early stages, and Robert wanted to drop him to the rails and get a little bit of cover, and hard to get cover in a 3-runner race, but he's found it. There was a stage going up the home straight that you feared for Smile with His Eyes getting caught on heels of horses, but of course the cutaway here helps in that respect, and Ningara running off a true line helped immeasurably as well. First Sergeant didn't have a great trip on the